All right. At the dumb shorts, did some situational stuff. It's hard to evaluate a lot of it in shorts, but got some work in, and tomorrow will be an important day for us to let our guys just play some football without telling them what to do on every snap.
So, Rich, practice today, we saw Sincere Bowers out there. I don't know how much you've got to work him. Obviously, he's just getting back into it. But what can he give you? What do you see out of him?
He's an athletic guy. I don't know I should look up what the speed was, the 40 times, whatever, but he's one of the faster guys we got. And a good football player, very conscientious. So he was been a little banged up, and he was back in white jersey today. So we need, we got to. I'd like to have 3 or 4 running backs to roll in there. If one guy's hot, we'll keep him in there, of course. But we're working on it. We're trying to get some guys healthy, and we don't have the biggest group right now as far as physical size there yet, but they're good workers.
You're trying to prepare them for tomorrow's scrimmage by just going through things they'll see or that you
might not really. Today was more, I might mention yesterday, 2-minute drill, end of game, end of half situations, a little bit more special teams. So it really wasn't anything related to tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have some situations. Our situational awareness is always something that usually takes, too much time, in my opinion, to put in, but you gotta. I have 2 pages of situations, and we didn't cover them all today. But it's when I'm talking about coaches and players and managers and everybody else, when we're not situationally aware of what's going on, that leads to some troublesome moments in practice. But so that's why we work on it every day.
Some that's down and distance. Anything else that stands out?
Oh, down and distance, yeah, that's every day. But today was end of half. There's a difference between the end of the half and the end of the game. Obviously, quarterback's taking a sack if we're in the red zone and we got field goal territory. You don't want to back up, by getting a sack. You got to get rid of the ball a little quicker at times. And then defensively, obviously, if you get a turnover at the end of the game, and you win it, you don't want to try to score. You want to get down. Those are kind of like common sense stuff. But we got to get a lot of situational stuff. When we're going, if we got a one timeout, when are we going to take it? Getting out of bounds. The whole, things that are pretty common. Everybody else does too.
The other day, Ryan Garrett was talking a little bit about how there's not really a wide receiver one yet in his eyes, but there's people trying to work up to that and building the room. Is that important to you to have a legit wide receiver one, someone emerge to that, or can you do it more as a committee?
No, I understand what everybody wants. They want to label guys wide receiver one, wide receiver two, and I understand why. You have a guy that's, just a dominant one-on-one guy which there's some out there, and our guys can potentially do that. You want to be aware of that. Okay, if this guy's one-on-one, that's the matchup you want. So, really, everybody wants, at least have one wide receiver one and one wide receiver two. If you had 2 of them, you're in pretty good shape. We got a couple guys that are pretty good. So I don't know if anybody's established that, but there's some potential there for those guys to do that. But I say that, and I don't want our quarterback to I'm throwing it to wide receiver one no matter how many people are on him. If you got a safety over top and a corner running with him, but this guy's open, he's one-on-one, you don't throw it over to that guy, unless he's just, super freak and whatever. There's few of those out there.
What do you want to see tomorrow? What's going to make you happy at noon when you walk off that field?
Well, I would think the effort would be there. They're going to make mental mistakes. I think there's, that part of it. You hope they're not making the same mental mistakes that they did today or yesterday or the day before. The physicality should be there. See who's don't really play football without. If there's too much, I would say too much. That's kind of a bad word. There's not too much coaching going on, but there's probably at times too much assistance early in camp where we're telling, coaches are kind of yelling our guys what to do, whatever, and that's not what happens in the game. In the game, coaches are on the sidelines or in the box, and the players have to take charge of it themselves. So part of my goal in scrimmage is to not have as much coaching per se going on from play to play. Let the guys play, correct the moments when we have time to correct them, and then evaluate pretty heavily what they do.
You, with the running backs, you typically like to historically try to get some carries split between a few guys. I've noticed last year at Jack State it was more of a one running back taking the majority of the load. With the depth where it is right now, if Jaheim White has to carry the majority of the load this year, do you have faith he can handle that?
Who said he does?
I'm not saying he does, but if he did, would you think?
If a frog had wings, you ever heard that? He wouldn't bump his butt when he tried to fly.
You're not that worried about depth
So
then.
if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his butt when he tried to fly, right? I'm hoping Jaheim, what I like for Jaheim, who's a good player, I hope he's physically able to run 25, 30 times a game, which I think he will be. But I don't, I'm not just saying it because that's a fair question. I don't overthink it. Like if you're good enough to win with and a running back is in there, I'll tell our guys, they may break off, say they break off a long run, 30-yard run or something. And a lot of times you see them tap out just to get a blow, right? And I don't blame them for doing that, but once we sub, allow them to sub. So I told our guys, you got to take off a 30-yard run. You might need to go jet tempo and do a 30-yard run and do another one because we're not going to sub. Sometimes we would, sometimes we won't. So the type of mentality our backs have, and I think they all have it anyway, is like, hey, you can hand it to me 10 straight times, I'll be able to run it and be in shape. Inevitably, though, you better have at least 3 that you can win with. And I think we can, but right now we're still working on that.
How much do you need to have done before the beginning of classes? I guess it's what, the 20th?
Yeah, I should know. I don't know.
So you got basically 11 days. What do you need to get done before school starts?
Well, before school starts, we should have who we are. That right? I mean, who we are offensively, defensively, special teams. You know, the plays we're going to run, the things we're going to feature. I mean, it changes week to week. Some game planning thing, but who we are. I don't know if you want to say our identity or whatever, but that's part of it. Should be established by time school starts.
You lived a lot off big plays, explosive plays throughout your career. Explain what makes one. Is it how much X's and O's, how much improvisation?
Yeah, some of it is a guy that can turn the 5-yard or 10-yard run into a 30, 40, 50-yard run because of his speed or athleticism. Some of it is your guys recognizing, whether it's on offense or defense, that moment, like whereas they're bringing a house and they're giving you opportunities to get a big play if you execute. So a lot of that is execution at the right time. You know, you execute against a base defense, you might get a first down. You execute against an aggressive defense, you might get a touchdown. If you don't, you get a turnover, a negative yardage play. So that part of that execution part is where coaches and players got to make sure we get that done in camp. And then the other part is, obviously, you're having a guy that can make somebody miss or run by somebody or dominate somebody on a pass rush or something like that. Then you're going to get explosive plays.
You can teach that, can
You can teach maybe the execution part. Like they're bringing all out blitz and you're picking up everybody but the least dangerous guy who's furthest from the quarterback. You could teach that part of it, but for the most part, the explosive ones come from somebody that took advantage of a little bit of space and took off.
You identified any true freshmen you like that it will probably not redshirt this year that will help you in some phase?
I don't even. It's funny you asked that, Greg, because you remember you'd go into it, that would be like part of your mindset, like which ones are going to redshirt. I'm like, well, who are we going to do? Redshirt them for the next coach or the next team? Hell with that. Shoot, if they can help at all, the freshmen, them suckers are playing, man. I ain't saving them for the next coach or here or the next damn coach is somewhere else that they transfer to. So yeah, I think Vetschler's going to be. I don't know this. I'm just predicting it. I saw the lower levels are advocating 5 years to play 5. And I think, and our guys can play 4 games in a bowl game. But I think it's probably going to hit this level too. You get 5 to play 5. So yeah, that used to be, part of their mindset. Like right now, okay, which ones do we want to redshirt? Right now, it's like, which of these freshmen can we get ready to play, and not even thinking about that part.
When you see a young guy, what excites you most when you're looking at him and evaluating him?
Well, they're all good players. They wouldn't be here. I tell every one of them. Even we got a handful of walk-ons, whatever. I said they've earned the right to be here. They're all really good players. Most of them are some of the best players from their high school. But the ones that have great success are the ones that are, really engaged and cognizant of learning, getting better, doing the little extra. I mean, everything gravitates to average in life. Everything goes to average. And to be above average, you usually have to do a little bit more, a little bit extra. And it's not just talent. It's just the way you approach your craft and whatever it is. And that's what we're trying to get our guys. Like I said, I don't want to be average. Nobody wants to be average. So we got to do a little bit more.
Secondary-wise, that was a major concern here last year. Obviously, a different cast of characters now this year. What are your thoughts on that group, that evaluation process? Because in the Big 12 in particular, you're going to face a lot of veteran QBs.
Yeah, a lot of really good quarterbacks. And we don't have a lot of, at least, experience from here, guys coming back. But I was just looking as you're saying it, we do have some experience of guys that have played a lot of football somewhere else. And I do think that's valuable, whatever the league it was. And I think we see that a little bit. Now they're still learning the system, and our defensive system is really unique and different. But our guys have done a good job of that. But you're right. I think our secondary play had to get better, and we've got some veteran. I'm just looking at, I don't know how many are seniors. We brought in quite a bit of veteran experience secondary guys, and I like what I've seen from them so far.
What did you even look for when you were trying to bring guys in? Because even going off of your point there, the secondary and bringing in a quality transfer like Beanie a couple years ago helped this program have a great year. Last year didn't hit and didn't have a great year. So that's a big part of whether you have a team that has success is been hitting on veteran players in the secondary.
That's probably the same at every position, right? The secondary probably gets exposed a little bit more, right? You screw up on wide out, it's second down, 10. You screw up in the secondary, it's touchdown or big play, right? So that I guess there's a little bit more urgency from us to get all those transfers, get all those new guys to play at the right level, and it's in a unique type of defense. So and they get tested in practice quite a bit because they're facing a different tempo than they'll see most of the year as well. But they've done a good job.
You had a couple of guys that transferred from Jacksonville State to West Virginia 2 years ago. They're still here. So did you have to have special conversations with them coming in saying, I don't hold it against you, or don't fear me, or well,
I think I saw Bosley for the first time. I said, "Hey Xavier, I'm back. Yeah. Are you gonna leave again?" No, he's a West Virginia guy. So no, we had a big chuckle on that. Did I tell you all the Bosley story? We were recruiting him at Jack State, and him and his dad. They got a great family, and they were talking. And we usually, when we talk, you usually have fill out a form, or not a form, or just talk. Say, hey, tell them something unique about that we might want to know about you, right? And he said, my dad burned all the Rich Rod things, pictures and everything in 2007. He put it on fire, cussed you out, all that kind of stuff. And so I had a good laugh with his father about that. So I said, well, now you got to go see, you wouldn't burn your stuff, burned all my stuff. You might have already had some West Virginia stuff. So,
he's gonna get it all back.
Yeah, he's going to have to buy it new. Maybe we'll sell something to the family. But
You have to convince him to come around?
That's it.
Is he over the emotions from 2007? Or?
Oh, hell yeah, he was when he was down there. But then he left me. And then Xavier left me, so then we're going back again. So he's a great young man. But all those guys were, obviously we know them. And I told you yesterday, my expectations for them, because they've played, if they were a couple years ago in defense, they played for Coach Alley and his system. And obviously the guys in offense, the same system. So they should understand it. And they've done a good job. I like they're going to help us win.
Scrimmage, I'm imagining it's a lot of putting stuff on the field that you've rehearsed and installed and all that stuff. But do you try to heat up position battles and competitions and try to see if, like, wait, can this corner beat the receiver, so on and so forth, or is that
Yeah,
too
not
specific?
not so much maybe offense against defense, but just to, even in practice like now, trying to roll guys in and out. And I think because sometimes if you're always with this group or always with this group, and you gotta they gotta be able to show their competitiveness no matter the situation and what it's in. So, and the scrimmage is not, and we were evaluating every day. The scrimmage part more than anything is, like I mentioned earlier, is where we're not yelling and screaming where to line up, what to do, down and distance. There really is, as much as we can, simulate like a game where the plays are called, the situations are what they are, and our guys are recognizing it. And then so there'll probably be a lot of learning experience for all of our guys. And I'm hoping we're going to do it in the stadium. Hopefully the intensity and the feeling there will be good. So I'm looking forward to it because we hadn't, last time we scrimmaged we're like full scrimmaged was the spring game, and that was held back, and there was like, I don't know how many new guys since the spring, like 40 some or something. So I mean, half the team wasn't even there then.
You put guys up in the booth, coaches up in the booth for this?
Not tomorrow.
No.
We'll do it, and we call our annual Beanie Bowl, which is like a dry run of the game, like 8 days before the first game. But tomorrow we won't. It'll be. But I will have to remind my coaches. There'll be a lot of tips and stuff we usually yell this on ball offense and defense to our guys or help them line up. Tomorrow, I still want to coach a little bit, but also I want our guys to kind of be able to figure it out too. And I got to get our quarterbacks. It's just hard on them. They've got to get more engaged. If a guy's lined up wrong, whatever, they got to be the voice out there to get it right. And so we'll work on that too.
How much is a day worth it? Like, if a guy on the radar, off the radar, has a really good day, or a bad day, do you put a lot of weight in it because it's a different type of practice?
In some regards, we do. It depends on which group he's going against. If he's going against the upperclassmen, first or second group, or is he going against the young guys and making plays against the younger group? So that's got to play a part in it too. So, but we'll evaluate everything.
Okay, thank you very much. Coach.
Okay.